Testing?
Yeah, and this is the mic for the stream.
Oh, awesome. Okay, yeah. OSINT social engineering. A lot of people know me as the person who's a little bit too good at OSINT sometimes. That's sometimes. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, so let's start to get into it. One of the big things is we need to know the difference between what social engineering and OSINT actually are. They're kind of one of the same, that you use OSINT for better social engineering, and you can use your social engineering skills to improve your OSINT skills. But generally, social engineering is that idea of human exploitation. So when you get a phishing email, there's some key concepts that you can refine in there to say, hey, why is this working so well? Generally, these are broke up into phishing, vishing, physical social engineering. So if you ever watch Darknet Diaries, they do a ton of that, where they're like, hey, I think it was actually one of the Black Hills founders, his mom did physical social engineering pen test. Very cool thing. And then finally we end with Pretext. And then OSINT, this is a joke, stalking plus plus. It's just kind of the same skills, but this is far more professional, and it honestly depends on the actual context in what you're doing. So again, that big disclaimer, don't do this for bad. These are skills that can be easily exploited for much worse things, and generally, just don't be bad. It's simple as that. Don't be going after your ex or whatever, whoever it is. If you don't like someone, don't use this stuff on them. This is for professional applications. And generally with the OSINT, that idea, we're going to go through what Google Dorking is, and then we're going to look at OSINT specifically for stuff like social media accounts, public records, credential dumps, and automated tools. Forgot. And then behind the podium, I can actually take my mask off. Okay, so we're going to start off with that idea of social media, or social engineering. So this talk is going to focus primarily on OSINT, just because we've had a lot of talks on social engineering in the past, and we've kind of missed that OSINT part. So this time we're going to be briefly going over it, and I also generally focus on OSINT, so we're going to start with this, and it'll be light. So phishing. So like I've said, it's this classical, hey, Nigerian prince wants to send you $100,000, but they need $20 in order to release it. Okay, I'll send the $20. You're kind of, people naturally want to trust and naturally want something. If you're able to combine those two, you can craft a very good phishing email. I've dealt with this a lot because I'm currently a threat hunter at Area 1 Security, where my entire job is looking through a scary list of stuff and saying, hey, this is actually malicious. This thing, because they spelled this wrong, is an indicator for something that's completely different from what it shows. I can't talk too much, but there's literally been situations where you can get thread hijacks and on both sides. So phishers will be talking to themselves, and you have to catch up on hey, this email changed the slightest bit, and now they're talking to each other and they're trying to sell this multi-million-dollar thing to themselves, but make someone else pay for it. Those are real stories. So generally with phishing, you look at stuff like mail, SMS. They technically call it different kinds of phishing because phishing is classically email, but you can do anything. This is a real one that I caught immediately. I saw it. I'm I don't have M&T Bank, and I got mad at them. Probably could have played that a little bit too well, a little bit better. And also social media DMs. I'm sure all of you have had that thing hey, you're cute. This, da 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 da. Check out my stuff. Yeah, NFT, crypto scams, all that. Even with Discord, they're getting really bad. They're saying, hey, you can make this scary money, da da da. Phishing, someone call it ad, advertising, whatever it is. I feel generally you can call any of it phishing as long as it's kind of appealing to some good nature and just trying to trick you.
Free nitro.
Yeah, free nitro. We had someone get caught with that. Yeah, phishes can be near perfect. Even me, who's been doing this for over a year, professionally, there's some times where like I don't know, and then I have to pull in more people, and they're like, I don't know, and it's hard to tell sometimes. Of course, on the top, CIA is telling me that my Reddit account was locked. Yeah, and then on top of that, it's sending from B. Probably not real. Vishing. So this is, I would also, it's a subset of phishing. This is when you're physically talking to someone. So I call it phishing with social anxiety, because phishing, you can send 1,000 emails out, see what hits, but you're also much more likely to get detected, because it's easy as anything to put some kind of block in your emails, check everything, but you can't detect vishing attempts because they happen in the moment. They're targeted to a single person, and generally, you're not supposed to know. If you're doing something as complex as vishing, you're good enough not to be caught, normally. This is also far more efficient. When you have someone on the line, it's easier than saying, hey, get back to me with this information, and it could be days later. And they could cross-check. You're getting someone on the phone, and they have to answer now or feel bad for keeping you waiting. It goes back to that idea that people want to please, and they want to help you. Yeah, there's several ways how emotions can be manipulated, and like, honestly, just pay attention in this video. This is originally a video that Shannon played for her social engineering, and it's just honestly amazing. I would highly recommend checking out her education talk on social engineering. Let's hope this actually works. Oh, great. How do we get audio?
Oh, well, you're on that computer, so it's not going to play on that computer. What you can do is you can go like this. Try that. It's going to...
Cool. Okay. So, yeah, check this out later. It's really easy to find. Hacking challenge at DEF CON. Basically, this lady goes and says, how much do you trust your, I think it's like phone company? And she gets on the phone. She spoofs the caller. She spoofs the caller to be the person like interviewing her or whatever. She puts on like baby sounds in the back and just sounds like kind of exasperated. She's like, hey, my husband told me it's just been so tough. He's at work. I'm trying to deal with the baby. I'm sorry if you're like And naturally, that person wants to please. They relate to that idea of being stressed, just wanting to get done. And they're like, oh, okay, how can I help you? They're like, I can't log into my email, or I can't log into the account. What email did I use? Right there. They were able to get the email of whoever the user was that they were targeting. Okay, easy enough. They even ask, hey, is there any other way that I can help you? Okay. She uses that and says, hey, I've actually been trying to add my number to this plan. Can you do that for me? And they actually go through and add her phone to their plan so that she has access, persistence to that account. It's really interesting, and it's scary how non-technical yet effective it is. Okay. Then we go into actual like physical penetration testing. So you can take this as the idea of like, hey, there's a bank robber, and he's or like you're a bank robber, you're really good at bank robbing, and a bank wants to use you to make sure that their security is up to tack. So like, of course, it was something bad that happened with the coal fire incident, but generally that's what we're looking at. They're saying, hey, can you come in, do this assessment? We want to make sure that our security is up to tack. And they just want to make sure overall that no one can break in. Of course, there was other issues with that, just general stuff with pen testing. Make sure that people are actually authorized to give you the permission that they do. And then just like small ideas, everyone always jokes that like, oh, you're going to a conference, bring a ladder, bring a hard hat, bring a clipboard. You can walk in, people hold the door for you, and you get in. Easy enough. It is looking like you're supposed to be there, acting like almost other people inconvenience you. You're trying to do your job. You just kind of want to be done with it. That idea can get you scary places. And always shout out to Loudon. Go to Physical Security Interest Group. There's the other side of physical penetration testing, which is not just the social engineering aspect, seeing if employees will trust you, seeing if whoever will entrust you. You got to test the locks. You got to make sure, like, hey, can I get into this place? Are there doors on backwards and I can just pop the hinge? Stuff like that. Finally, pretext. It is the idea of why are you there? Why are you doing this? Who are you? What are you doing? Who's your manager? How are you going to answer these questions if you do get caught? Because how you answer those are very important. Because someone can be suspicious of you, say, I want to do my due diligence, I want to grill this guy, and they ask you a set of questions, and as long as you check those correctly, they'll be like, okay, I'm still sus of you, but I'm going to let you free for right now. And getting this all down is the difference between a test where someone is just a little bit suspicious and you get caught, and where you are home free and people will like actually remember you and let you in the next time. Okay, so we moved away from that social engineering talk, short and sweet. Now we're moving to OSINT. So we've talked about this first idea of Google Dorking. Google Dorking is just a generalization for any kind of search engine dorking, or it's just a very effective way to search. So theoretically, if you wanted, not saying that you should, you could find free textbooks by looking up the textbook name and then file type :PDF. So you're searching for anything on the internet with that specific name that's a file of PDF. Not saying to do it, but it's possible. Other cool things you could do is stuff like you search up the word confidential, look at a specific file type like PDF, and you want to target this site. It's going to filter down exactly for anything that's a PDF that contains confidential on that given site. Other stuff, in URL admin, if there's somehow an index site that has admin in it, like in the URL, like somehow it's accessible through Google, you have an admin page, why not take a look at it if you're on a assessment. And then always, I actually didn't even think about this one. I think it was Chris. She said, one of the nicest things that I do, Pinterest always comes up and says, hey, why don't you make an account? I have this like cool thing that looks cool, but it's honestly kind of terrible. Once you actually get in, then you have to sign in and da-da-da-da. Just remove the site Pinterest from any of your searches. Another important thing with Google Dorking, think about metadata. So what, you have a PDF or whatever XYZ document, there's more information than what's actually on the document. So that could be metadata in terms of usernames users in an organization, could hint at how emails are set, such and so forth. There's a ton of stuff that they put in metadata or people forget to scrub for metadata that can be useful. And then just like looking at like some of the Google Docs that put in URL, it checks if something's in the URL. Some kind of text site filters down a specific site file type, filters down a specific file type. All these are pretty simple. All in URL, it's very similar to in URL, but I think it's just a lot more strict. Again, in text, is it in the text of the document? Related, that's like if you want to look up a duck, but you also want to see gooses maybe, or I don't know if that's not specific enough, but stuff like that. It's just saying, hey, also use any synonyms for this. That's the other one actually, but it's very similar to that. Info looks at like the info documents. I forget exactly. Links looks for specific links. If you're putting apostrophes around or quotation marks around it, it will look exactly for what you're searching. The plus will add specific search parameters. The minus will subtract specific parameters. So if you want to look only at, say, a subdomain, you can remove the domain and add the subdomain. And then that way you're only checking those. Wildcard works just like globbing in Bash. Synonyms, again, like I talked about, like the duck goose example. I don't know if those are specific enough, but I think you understand. And then we have the idea of like ands and ors. And that is, again, just filtering down or making your search a little bit more extensive. So I think with this, the most important thing is to have some kind of demo. So we're not really doxing Enzo, but kinda. You can do all this and find the same information I did. I don't suggest that, but still fun. So like just doing something simple like forcing Google to find anything with Enzo, anything with DeStefano, but remove anything RIT or RITSec. Because you look up Enzo DeStefano, there's going to be 1,500 things related to cybersecurity, RIT, RITSec, whatever it is. So one of the first things, his race history from high school, we can see what he got for the 1,000, 1,600, 400, stuff like that. Who would have thought? Enzo was a pretty good runner. You can see some related names. Enzo lives in Webster, it's telling us. We find his LinkedIn profile where he works. We even find his Twitter. And surprisingly enough, they actually tagged Enzo in elementary school photo when he was just in the background. He was drawing on a shirt, and then it's oh, Enzo is drawing on a shirt in the background for Think Pink Week. And that was honestly pretty funny that they tagged him. Okay, social media. People love to overshare. You can use that in almost anything. And it's kind of scary how deep you can go. It makes it super easy just to find people, find information about people, companies, whatever it is. Most people have a social media account. Most businesses have a social media account, if not multiple. You can use Facebook for finding family information, LinkedIn job information, Twitter for everyone's unfiltered stream of consciousness, of course. And then just more and more from there. Social media is one of the most important points to pivot. So let's say John Doe doesn't have any kind of social media, but his wife Jane Doe loves to post pictures. Use it. Find what mother-in-law, find kids, find father-in-law, find the family around it. From there, you're gonna find a lot about John Doe. And remember not to get stuck up on the base stuff. It's kind of scary. People will just have random accounts, and there's even some sites out there that will just scrape them for you, and then you'll find them based on username or email. So just doing another demo, we find Enzo's LinkedIn. He not only includes one email, but 2 separate emails just on his LinkedIn account. We got those. We got his phone number even. He just includes it on his LinkedIn account for anyone to find. We found his GitHub. We see again that he's from Webster, New York, because he used to be a sales floor team member at Target. We also found his Enzo, as a kid, used to get fooled a lot. So there's a couple times Instagram threatened to go down, and I'm pretty sure his explanation for this is that he's young, and he wasn't able to delete the account because he forgot the password. So if any of you can find it, be sure to tell Enzo. But yeah, he got fooled 3 or 4 times in a row by the same scam saying to repost so that your Instagram account doesn't get deleted. I think I have another one later. It's honestly pretty funny. But yeah, you can even see who he follows, following. You can find family, friends, whatever it is. Be sure to check out Enzo D3 on Instagram. It's pretty dope. Okay, so public records. Public records are probably the sketchiest looking things that we're going to look at today. And they're probably one of the most authoritative, because these are published by county most of the time, and will most of the time not include super specific information, but if you can find it, you can most likely trust it. So just to find it, you just Google public records, and then your county and your state, or wherever they find. We saw that Enzo lived in Webster, and we can search what county is Webster, New York in. Oh, it's in Monroe County. Public records, Monroe, New York. And you get a portal up, and you can search by name, by email, I think, phone number even, address, and you get anything connected to it. Just looking up Enzo, and Enzo doesn't have anything because I don't think he owns a house or anything, but just by looking up his last name, you can find anyone he's related to in there. The deeds and everything in there will say anyone connected. They will do marital status, say who's who, and they're all pretty authoritative. I looked at just the first page, and you can find deeds, power of attorney, mortgages, discharges of mortgages. You can find when someone bought a house, when they moved, when their mortgage ended, just absolutely everything. Foreclosure, tax liens. Tax liens are an amazing way to get property. Totally sketchy though. Okay, so now we're on to our demo. So we got Enzo's house in the center. Pretty nice looking. I removed hopefully everything. See, he's still in Webster, New York. On the left, we see the discharge of mortgage. So Enzo's dad paid off his mortgage. We see the previous, when he bought the house, we found another address where he used to live in, like, I think it was 93. We find the actual address that it is. You can actually check sometimes and see exactly how much they bought the house for. So you can get, like, information on how exactly, like, how well off someone is. You can get, like, if they're at the end of their mortgage, you can actually see, like, hey, this company lent this much money to them to pay off their mortgage. So you can get, like, more information on, like, how they're doing financially, stuff like that. Again, tax liens, all that. So you can understand a lot financially from this. But yeah, so recorded and verified document, like there's some scary stuff. And then always an important thing to do when you're finding this stuff, make sure to double check it. So we go back to Enzo's social media accounts. We find this cool photo with him and I think it's cousin drinking like soda. We see the little house next door. We see like the pavement. There's the, basketball hoop in the left. We go back, we can see a basketball hoop right in the house. And all the same like pavement type stuff, similar decor. We go back, we also see his pool. Hashtag pool, hashtag how fun. He loved hashtagging. No comments, 23 likes, pretty good ratio. We see that shape of the pool. We see the pool cover, exact same shape. So we can be pretty certain this is Enzo's house. So I think we all just deserve a little bit of a break. Find some cool stuff that Enzo's posted, stuff he's been posted in. He retweeted another one of the type things where it's like, repost this to get X, Y, and Z. So, of course, pretty dope. He looks pretty happy. Okay, so credential dumps. Don't actually do this. It's something to think about, like if you're in a professional assessment. Like, okay, check all their emails. Have I been pwned pretty much tells you if of their search or of their known credential dumps, is your email in there. So theoretically, if you're trying to emulate an attacker, you should say, hey, realistically, I can find this credential, and potentially it's very similar, if not the exact same, as something that they use at their business. At the very least, it gives you a pretty good word list or word starting off in order to do some hash cracking. So you pretty much don't have to steal or hack. It's basically just like gleaming off previous attackers. And this is like why using the same password is so scary. So Enzo is good enough. He actually had no pwned email addresses from the accounts that he has public facing. I was not so lucky. One of my like really old ones was in like 5 data breaches, so that's on the bottom. I think I've deleted that. I'm not sure though. But yeah, again, what is it? The website is Have I Been Pwned? PWEED. PWNED.com. Very good. You can even like, it sounds sketchy, but you can put in your password and it will check to see if any of the dumps contain your password so you know how secure it is. I generally would trust Have I Been Pwned, but it is a little bit sketchy that they're doing that. But yeah, just another cool way. Send your, it's like that old like, check if my social security number's in any of the breaches, but it's just like an Albanian website. But this one should be like decent. Yeah. So to find the actual credential dumps, you're probably going to look on like some like random paste bin. It's going to be a lot of searching. You're going to have to go on dark web. It is generally very sketchy, and I would advise, unless you have like significant legal disclosures saying that you can, don't do this. Don't ever do this. It's super sketchy. You can find a lot of information, but it's not worth it. So going off that, we have a little bit of a demo. We got Enzo's password. It's blocked. Okay, last thing we're going to go over is some automated tools. OSINT is one of those things where there's a scary amount of tools, and it's even scarier trying to figure out where you start from. We're going to go over a lot. I say a lot, but I think it's like 6 main tools, and then we have like 10 sub-tools that I'm just going to go over quickly. But yeah, automated tools lightning round. So first, Multigo, very nice graphs. You can do transforms on data you already know. Say you know Enzo's name. Say, do a transform to find any possible email and check if those emails are real. Okay, cool. Now you have a new set of emails. Then take those emails and do a transform and see if there's any accounts on them. So cool. And then you get a nice looking graph. You look like a real hacker. Also, just generally, this is nice to organize data, even if you don't want to use the transforms. Shodan. So there's some ideas on like whether OSINT includes port scanning. If OSINT is port scanning, I would only say that Shodan is, because the information is already there, and then you can do the port scanning anonymously and very slowly. So you can like just generally search up, hey, in this IP range, where is port X, Y, and Z open? And this is just very powerful. Like if you ever seen the thing where like, oh, I'm on a CCTV like camera, they just go into Shodan, search for that port open. Even I forget if there's like an OS detection, but you can even check for that. And say like, oh, here's a list of like everything I can see, and I think they even might give you a preview on the website. And super cool, very sketchy, very cool though. Spiderfoot. This is probably one of my favorites, just because I learned about this and it just integrates a lot. So it like automatic scans based on emails, username, phone numbers, a lot more. This will basically do your work of like Multigo and Shodan. It will incorporate those ideas and like the actual APIs for them, I believe, and as well as a lot more, and do a lot of checking. Gives you a really nice report. You can just like click on the name of your scan and just check everything it's found. It'll put it in a graph, give you like statistics on like what it's found. Generally, this works a lot from just checking if sites exist. So like if youtube.com/username exists, you can be pretty confident that there's a user of username on that site. This is sometimes pretty unreliable. I confirmed some with Enzo, and like I went through probably around 10, and none of them were real. They were honestly pretty sketchy. But you can find some gems. I think I found Enzo's Fortnite tracker, so that was pretty cool. Harvester. This is very similar to Spiderfoot that we just went over. Does a lot of the same things, is a much more well-known tool, and even has an RITSec alumni as a developer and maintainer. Very cool tool, command line. Works very well. I haven't been able to like actually use this professionally, but I haven't heard any complaints about it, and generally just pretty cool. I forget if this is finally, but TinEye, reverse image search. So how many people in here, or how many people do you think generally use the same exact profile photo that's unique to them on all their accounts? This will let you put in just any image or image URL, put that on there, and then it will search the web. Even does like some like pattern matching. It's scary good sometimes. And you can potentially find like all the different accounts that someone has just based on their profile picture. Kind of creepy, but very cool. Sometimes they're like absolutely horrible. Like I just searched the RITSec logo in it, and like one of the first results was like an LED line that's neon light that said like we're open. I don't know. Sometimes it's very good, sometimes it's not. Yeah, you can use your profile picture on it, check it out, try it on your own, see what you can find. Always fun. Yep, it was the final one. So there's a lot more. There's more than this. So Spice, Dark Search IA, grep.app, ReconNG, Matika. I haven't really been able to play with all these, but I've seen them on a lot of different websites. Never heard anything bad about them, so I'm assuming they're pretty good. Built with Intelligence X, Mega Goofil, Search Code, BabelX, Census.io, check usernames, Wappleize, and Jigsaw. Some of these are independent tools. stuff like Census.io, grep.app, darksearch.io, all things that you can just, it's a website, you use it, you get some information, very cool. And yeah, that's our last slide, so I forgot to put a question slide in, but questions? Cool.
All right, wrap it up for Max. I didn't put a demo slide. Oh no, there's demo.
No, there's a demo slide. Demo time. Oh, yeah, I'm already up here for it. Yeah, so this demo was actually entirely made by Alex. He's our junior tech lead, if you know. I've looked at them, and they look really freaking cool. Like, I'm excited for you guys to try them. I'm going to be trying them myself. I hope you all are doing the demos this week. There's no VM. It's all online. You can all have fun. Go for it. flags.ritsec.club to go on, and ritsec.club/education. Just for everything else, you really don't need it other than flags this week. Happy hacking.
Woo. Let's fade in that music.
There you go.
And mute the stream so we don't get copyright claim. All right. Do the demos, everybody. We will be back at 2.